Time now for a look at what's been making headlines here in France, and Belle Lupton's here to talk us through the day's headlines. It's been a busy weekend for the Republican Party, hasn't it?
It has. They're now in full swing for their primaries elections. This is obviously in waiting for the presidential elections that will take place next year. And so the intrigues on both sides of the political divide are beginning as to who will step forward to be a candidate. Now, Le Monde describes this. It says, for the centre-right party, it is the first time that the party holds an American-style primaries like this. The Socialist Party did it last time round, but this is the first time for the Republican Party. And it's already a very, very crowded field. Former Prime Ministers Alain Juppé and also François Fillon have announced that they will stand. That's joining other prominent Republican Party politicians like Nadine Morano, Frédéric Lefebvre and Hervé Mariton. But there are a handful more that we're expecting to step forward still. So you can see there's quite a few of them who might be putting forward their candidature. One of those has already done so. Last night, Jean-François Copé announced his candidature live on French television. Now, he's the former head of the party in the National Assembly.
But he's far from being best friends with Nicolas Sarkozy. That's obviously ruffled a few feathers.
Yeah, the two of them do not get on at all. So you have Le Parisien, a tabloid over here in France, which starts with the headline, Copé defies Sarkozy. Now, the two of them are known to be sort of sworn enemies. But the deputy mayor of Meaux, which is Copé, so that's a commune just east of Paris, says, I am not motivated by a sentiment of revenge, any sentiment of revenge. However, Le Parisien says, it is open warfare between these two guys. They are locked in combat to the death. I'm using Le Parisien's words, not mine. Now, they fell out, first of all, over the big Malian affair, in which the party was investigated over 10 million euros worth of spending, which they'd hidden. So invoices, basically, that they created in order to hide Sarkozy's campaign spending in that failed 2012 election bid. Copé escaped questioning in that particular affair, but he's never got over the fact that when Sarkozy was questioned by police, he pointed the finger at him.
And there's more bad news for Sarkozy, isn't there?
There is. It's not the end of it for Sarkozy, because another former Prime Minister, Jean-Pierre Raffarin, has come out in support of yet another former Prime Minister, which is Alain Juppé, and his candidature. So it's in Le Monde, which quotes Raffarin saying that he is firmly and actively at Juppé's side. Raffarin is very keen to stress that he is not anti-Sarkozy, but he also puts a little dig in there and says that he is stunned to see that at the opening of this new campaign, Sarkozy hasn't come out with that strong opening gambit that you might expect from him, which is quite strange. Now, the pro-business paper L'Obs sums the whole thing up with this headline, Copé standing, Raffarin chooses Juppé, a hellish weekend for Sarkozy. That's their take on the whole thing. And then another financial paper, this time Les Echos, looks at Sarkozy's strategy this time round. We haven't heard a lot about it, so what is he playing at? It says that he's taken the only nook that was left within the party, which is to fight harder and faster for the right wing. So essentially trying to do what none of the others in his party will do, which is to go after that National Front vote. So people who are on the far right. Les Echos plays a numbers game and says that Sarkozy is in the process of adding up his 2007 campaign with his 2012 campaign. But the paper asks, can 2007 plus 2012 equal 2017?
OK, well, let's switch from right to left and the ruling socialists who've added some green to their government.
Yes, so Hollande last week, at the end of last week, announced that he was putting in a handful of green politicians to his cabinet. He also announced a local referendum, and this is about the controversial building of a new airport at Notre-Dame-des-Landes in western France. That would be to replace the current hub that's there at Nantes. Now, for L'Opinion, again, that same pro-business paper, Hollande risks racking up yet another failure on his slate with this referendum. They say after the failed swipe at stripping nationality from terror suspects, this is just another thing that he might lose.
Putting politics to one side, though, Belle, the January attacks in Paris are still on the front pages.
They are. They're certainly on Libération's front page because the Eagles of Death Metal, which was that group, if you remember, that were playing at the Bataclan when terrorists came into the Bataclan on the 13th of November, they are back playing a concert at the Bataclan again this Tuesday. So they're coming back. They promised to do this shortly after the attacks, and now that time has come. Now, Libération visits the survivors of the attacks, and it asks them how they're living with those memories 3 months later. So it has a few little strands that it picks up and weaves through with one or two of these survivors, saying that they are trying as much as they can to overcome the trauma, but of course the memory still lingers on, as it does on the front page there.
OK, Val, thanks for that look at the French press this morning. We're taking a short break right now, but don't go anywhere. There's more news and headlines coming up in a few minutes' time, as well as this morning's Focus report, which comes from Ukraine a year after the Minsk deal was signed, one that was meant to bring an end to hostilities. Do stay with us here on France 24.